Her heart was cold like mid of February, and plus the attitude was unnecessary, that sucks. She claimed to hold it down to be the good one, of course, but once you raise the volume up too hot, no, we can't adjust. A lot of things to build and to demonstrate, ain't no hesitation when it come to place. But if you run away with me, you can't play no games with me. Keep it natural, girl, I ain't into Kim K's. She tried to tell me there isn't the truth. If you don't believe the truth, why should I believe in you? I know you think I wouldn't let you through, but feelings wasn't this mutual. I'ma give you the deuce. Oops.
I just wanna run this play so that I can run away with you. With you, with you, with you. I need you to let me know.
You know the words, no saying. Oh, baby. Hold up. What are you talking about, YouTube press? What is you talking about, sir?
I don't know what he talking about.
He said, you accidentally responded to my private question to the entire channel. I'll sign a prenup if that's what's holding you up. Ah, I get it. Sorry. Slow. I rode the short yellow bus in tonight. I get it. Because I said, get married for what?
I was in the short yellow wagon.
The struggle bus.
The struggle bus.
Struggle bus. The struggle bus. Them kids weren't special ed. They were just unable to be indoctrinated. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, while they were drooling on themselves.
Hey, I hung out in a special ed class. I didn't see no drool.
We all did.
I the one
Come on, man. Well, I mean,
that was the fun. That was the fun class. Lily.
I knew a dude who went to MIT. He was in a special ed class.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's the geniuses in the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's actually geniuses in the hood.
No, just the fact that he was in special ed and went to MIT. I was like, damn.
Listen,
yeah, sometimes we just showed up to school because fuck it. Like,
that's half the time I was in school. That's what I was thinking too. Fuck it. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here?
I was like, let me just do enough to get by and go on about my business. I would show up every now and then.
Listen,
have a learning ability. We were just bored.
Right.
Yeah.
I brought it up. My middle son, I asked him the other day because he sits there and waits the last second to try to pull up a grade. So it's like, what's wrong? It's boring. I said, you want to go in a harder class? He's like, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it is boring. Maybe that's what he needs.
That's what it is. When people think their children are bad, they're bored. Because that was my story. Like, school bored the living fuck out of me, right? And so what I would do is I wouldn't go for the most part, and I would go in like last minute, turn in a bunch of assignments. I'm like, okay, I'll see y'all soon. Go about my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he said something like it's the same stuff we're doing in 7th grade, or something like it. He's in 9/10 in between.
Back just like writing music most of the time, man. And then you do a test, you do an essay, you do whatever you need to do just to get to the next situation, man.
I mean, but there's a huge difference between book smarts, right? Like textbook smarts, and then wisdom and being worldly and intuitive, which I think we get by default in the hood because we have to mature a lot faster than some kid in the suburbs, you know what I mean? And it's like, I know people think that we harp on it, but honestly, being born and raised in that type of situation is like somebody going off to war. You take an innocent, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 19-year-old and you send him off to war. He comes back 4 years later. That's a whole different man with a whole different outlook, with a lot more wisdom.
I mean, I said that a while ago. I have to agree with you that I always thought, and that's why a lot of times I would, especially when I was when I was older in the military, and I would have some guys, I always thought that the people, well, mostly black kids I'm talking about, were more mature than the white kids coming into the military. I could see it.
Mhm.
And the white kids would annoy me because they were immature. You know what I mean? It would
Right.
really annoy me. So I think there's some validity to what you're saying. I saw it, from a young, even when I was at a younger age. So yeah, I mean, I think there's, and as far as what you're saying about book smart, I think, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that too. I mean, there's different ways of being smart. Book smarts will get you in certain careers, if you're going to a university and things like that, technical stuff. But I mean, there's smart mechanics, there's smart,
Yeah,
there's a
of
lot of,
course.
so yeah, it's not always, book smart. So, yeah, so
I mean,
agree with you.
there are parents that take their kids out of school entirely and travel the world with them, right?
Right.
That's gonna be a different type of kid than a kid that goes to the rigmarole of first grade, second grade, third, in one country, right, from first to 12th grade. So, but going back to what Lily said, it's true. It's just really boredom. I was a brilliant kid from the very beginning. So when I went to school, I craved like hanging out with the adults, with the teachers, right? I would try to sneak off and like hang out in the teacher's lounge or even the special ed class. Why? Because in the special ed class, there was only like 4 or 5 students in there and you can talk one-on-one with the teacher. As
Mhm.
opposed to being in a class of 30 some odd students, the teachers are like, they're just trying to get through the day. And I just craved being around people that were more mature, that were smarter, because I felt like they knew more. And you get bored, especially if you're in a school with no instruments, no extracurricular activities, no sports. I mean, we didn't have that
And
shit.
that's
We
what
didn't have sports,
oh, see,
bands.
oh wow. See, now that they did have that in my school, but now they've gotten rid of that in most schools, from what I've heard.
Big
Yeah.
mistake.
Big mistake. Like they've gotten rid of a lot of the arts in school. That
Yeah.
could not be, there could not be a bigger disservice, injustice like to children than to take the arts out
Yeah.
of school.
Horrible. Like absolutely. You must have arts. You must have instruments. You must. It is imperative because kids get bored. It's like, I don't want to sit here, especially if you're like, you finish before the class finishes or you're done with the test, you're done with the quiz. It's like, all right, I got this. I got it. What's next? Like, I got it already.
And like you, I always wanted to be around older people. So I would just go be with my older cousins instead. Like I was like, I don't want to be here with these
Yeah.
kids all day long. This is crazy.
And you just can't think it, and then we'll move on, but you just can't think that 30 kids from different walks of life, different spirits, different souls, different aspirations are all going to sit there like fucking zombies and you're going to teach them one way and they have to learn that one way and do that one. You have 30 brains in there. It's crazy. Like honestly, I think you diminish, you know what I mean, their thought process, because it's like, I don't care how lively your thoughts are, you have to do what I put in this curriculum and you have to finish it this way. But I'm like, no, but I'm thinking this and that and brighter
Right.
lights and colors. No, you have to do this and everybody's going to take the same, test and everybody's going to be taught the same thing. That shit is fucking torture. And that's why it is a fucking pipeline. Stand by that.
To some degree, I agree with you because I mean, I think the curriculums and I think school is for the average person because out of 30 people, you might have 2 or 3 or 4 bright minds. I mean, bright minds that go on and do something special, go on and do something brilliant. The rest of them, they need structure. They need, some sort of whatever because these are going to be mechanics. These are going to be fry cooks. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? These are going to be the people who have these jobs that keep the system moving and so on and so forth. School isn't for the brilliant. Universities are to some degree. School is not for the brilliant. It never was for that. You know what I mean? It is for the indoctrination and the homogenization of a productive workforce. That's it. It's for production.
Yeah.
That is what it's for.
And to what Jen's point is, I agree. Like they I mean, listen, I think it would be impossible to break down and teach every style to every, it would be too much money. So they do break it down into this is what we have. It does seem to benefit women more than it benefits men. And that's why now you're seeing more women go through college and get degrees.
Right.
But yeah, there's some people that it works for, and if you're lucky enough to do that, but like you said, it's not there to when they cut the arts, I mean, the creativity, they're not thinking about the creative mind or anything like that.
They want you to be able to do 8 hours in a seat.
That's it.
Well, yeah, and
That's
I
what
listen
they
most,
want you to
but
do.
that's what most people are gonna be. Is it?
Yeah.
So I mean, I get that part, but to Haran's point, I mean, it's a starting point. You got to know how to read. You got to know how to do a little math.
You just have to,
A little, not a
past that
lot,
part,
not a lot. You need to know how to count.
once you get past all that, you don't need to ask no more, right? Because really, all they teach you how to do is retain and recall, retain and recall, retain and recall. And then you get older and you see that's what these people that we
Yeah.
interact with, they just recall a bunch of fucking shit that they heard because that's how we've been indoctrinated.
but then when you
as
when,
humans.
then you have to think, but which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? When we say there are 30 people in there, 29 of them are meant to be cattle. Are they? Are they meant to be cattle, or it's just routine? Like your parents are like, oh, we went to school, you go to school, his kids go to school. You know what I mean? It's like if you did have a class where it's like we're teaching everybody to be great, you know what I mean? What would that look like? Of course, it wouldn't be in the best interest of the government because they need worker bees.
So the question you asked me the other day, Jen, what will fall apart? This was one of the many things I said will fall apart if we really knew the intel. I was like, if people really knew, they would stop going to school, and then that would affect the job market because that's what it's there to funnel us in one or two ways, either to the workforce or to the prison force. Like it's just that damn simple. So those are two forces, two big economical forces in our country: prison system and educational system, and the drugs and whatever.
I mean, they keep building the prisons.
Exactly. So those are a couple of things that will fall apart.
I hear what you guys are saying, but you're giving people too much credit. Okay, because yes, if there's 30 people in there, yeah, I would say like 29 of them are there for cattle. Because look, listen, if your kid's Mozart and your kid's Steve Jobs or whatever would have you, most of the time they're going to become Steve Jobs, even if they start out in that environment. They're going to become Mozart, even if they start out in that environment, because that's just who they are genetically. Look, listen, in this internet world, one of the greatest things that people don't talk about is that there's an infinite amount of time and space and energy that you can dedicate to actually educating yourself on politics, science, math, so on and so forth. You can do all these things yourself personally. But no, we don't do that. Motherfuckers go online, they talk about, coffee dates. They talk about $200 dates, titties. Oh, look. Oh, he's a racist. All that other shit. Because at the end of the day, the average person wants to talk about that shit, and the average person just has the capacity.
I think I have to disagree. I have to disagree.
You constantly come to the table with things that are interesting in the DMs. We actually talk about things of merit. We actually talk about intellectual pursuits.
Right. No, but I mean, I disagree with that. I think but here's what I think. I think in a classroom of 30 people, I think you're underestimating the power of indoctrination. That's all I think. I think you're underestimating the power of indoctrination. I think that there would be a lot more scholars and brilliant people and Mozarts and whatever, right? The Mozarts, the Steve Jobs, those are usually the kids that rebel and say, I don't give a fuck about this. The other ones are scared to stray from whatever the fuck mommy and daddy said. You go in there, you fucking graduate, you get this degree. I'm not taking care of you for the rest of your fucking life. You go off to fucking college and get out of my fucking house, right? That's how most of us are raised. Most of us are raised. Don't fucking get pregnant. Don't bring no bitch here. That's how most of us are raised, right? Our parents are also indoctrinated and they're scared. They need that, you know what I mean? You have to, you're born, you get married, you have push out a couple kids, you get the 401k, you fucking retire, they put you in a box after you die, you keep it moving, right? That's indoctrination. But there is a shift in the universe, okay? Mm-hmm. It's going to be harder to get these kids to go to school and stay in school. Now, I know people are going to say, not all the kids online are rich, but guess what? The kids online are making, at the very least, a living wage. At the very least, even on the low, forget the gamers that are making millions of dollars. Okay. Forget the coaches that are making millions of dollars. At the very least, you can sit home and play a little game and make a living wage and be able to pay your rent, right? And be able to pay for your groceries. And this is happening more and more often. So what's going to happen to the school system? I would say, pon ojo and be careful, because they're going to come after our kids, and they're going to come after the colored kids first. If we can't get your asses in school, we will put you in a fucking prison. But you will produce. Some way, somehow you will, but you don't want to sit your colored ass in a fucking classroom, we will stick you in a prison. So be very, very careful. Because listen, as time goes on, these kids do not want to be in school. They don't see the need. Shit, we're talking about get married for what tonight? Things that used to be important are not so much anymore. Mr. Research, I see you. Fix your frame, honey. Fix your frame before you come up here. Fix your frame, brother.
God damn, listen, worse than mine sometimes.
I want to say something. You know, one thing, like you're saying, the way they taught us when we were growing up is memorization and all that kind of stuff in school. The problem I found, like and I don't know if they changed or not, because my kids are further up in school right now, but I remember when they were teaching, I guess it was called Common Core Math or something like this. And it was totally different from the way I learned how to do math. It was thinking outside the box. They were trying to teach kids to think outside the box, to come up with there's different ways you can come up with this answer, right? Parents didn't understand. They couldn't sit down with their kids. What do you mean? 5 plus 5 is 10. What is all this? So parents got frustrated, and I know they were trying to gut it here. I don't know if they stopped teaching it or not, but to me, that was a much better way to learn, because you're teaching the kid to think differently. You know what I mean? Critical thinking, right? And they definitely don't teach critical thinking.
Oh, they don't teach critical thinking, and that's how we got so many zombies running around here now. Because most people don't critically think at all. It's amazing to watch humans. It's like, come on, one critical thought, just one, just give me one.
Half a critical thought.
But they also took phonics out of the school, you know what I mean? And this is why a lot of these kids can't really read. Yeah, they took phonetics. They took basically how to sound out a word and things of that nature. This is why motherfucking loose and lose keeps kicking people's fucking asses. You know what I mean? At the period in time, online.
How about there, right? There, and there?
So I would say
two of those effect, beating motherfuckers' asses on the regular. But anyway, what I'm saying here is, go ahead.
No, just welcome, Mr. Research. Don't forget Cash App on the block with Jen to support the show. We're gonna bring it tonight. Tonight's Friday, so everybody's letting their hands go in this bitch. Also, you can super chat and you can come up on the panel tonight. You must show your face. If you don't want to show your face, then you have to pay the lady. Mr. Research, what say you? You always have something colorful to add.
So yeah, it's always something different than everybody else. Mr. Saint, I would get you to kind of understand what I said to a panel of non-melanated people 3 days ago. Traditions and cultures are different. I'm from the hood, but when it comes to that mathematic piece that you speak of, I, as an honor roll student, got exactly the treatment you're talking about. My regular public school people were told not to do that. Think about that. So when you're in some of these cultures that allow you to have that broadened octagon type of thinking, then yeah, you naturally progress into some of these areas. Think about Asian people. They culturally don't really get into the sex. They culturally don't get into the partying. They culturally don't school. And one other trick of Asians, which we as Black honor roll students use, many of the Asians from first grade to 12th grade, they're the same group of people. They never intermix really people outside of that dynamic. So many a times you're going from what is intent of family, so to speak, from first and third grade all the way up to 12th. So that means me and you, Saint, will be sitting up here bouncing off ideas to pass this test. Me and Lily will join in because she's part of it. And lastly, my 3rd grade Catholic school, we're about to have our reunion because we all have that family mindset. Regular public school people don't have that. It's kind of like on an island unto themselves. And if you have parents that are detrimental to your learning, because Black parents tend to say, I want my kids educated, but do nothing financially or action-wise to help those children get into those areas of higher learning and more difficult learning. So I understand Black people punch down on them, but I understand how the culture works. And unfortunately, the culture sometimes is not structured for that kid's success, unfortunately.
I wouldn't necessarily call that culture. That's not culture. I myself went to Catholic school for about 8 years of my life. It's not culture. It's money. It's money is the difference. You're paying a premium. When a premium is being paid, yes, your children are going to be treated differently. Your children are they're going to get the good parts of the pig when it comes to education. Let's just call it what it is. You know what I mean? Public school and so on. Yeah, they get the other parts. They get the fucked up, torn up books. They get the teachers who aren't really that qualified. You know what I mean? They get the 5th, 6th, or 7th principal that week that didn't quit. So it is what it is because it's more on a social scale. It's free lunch. It's literally free lunch. It's free shit. So when you're walking in an environment where people are paying, they have expectations. And you have a corporation and you are building a brand. And if your brand says that the kids that come through your doors go to the best high schools, who go on to the best colleges, you are going to ensure that you build the best and brightest and ensure that all of your curriculum is up to date and you make sure that these kids go on and do better things. So I wouldn't necessarily call that culture. There's money attached to that. There's economics attached to that.
So 30 seconds. 30 seconds. The Catholic school was 3rd grade. I went to public hood school. And we had a section of that was not about the money at all. It was about the system. So gifted and talented education, shout out to GATE, gifted and talented education allowed you to springboard and go to college at 16. If you can get these numbers, I was a 3.8. The highest person in our thing was a 4 point something. So that had nothing to do with money. That had to do with people created a system and protected the system to allow this. Now, that was totally different than other schools that had the same economic makeup. Our particular school had adults who protected the gifted and talented education program. But go ahead, Jen, back to you.
But
does anybody else have
program?
This guy.
I'm referencing a complete functional brand, a system.
Yeah,
you're
still
referencing a program,
still a cultural system.
Honestly, it's understood. It's understood. Of course, they're going to have like a little section with the gifted folks in high school. We had that. We've seen it. You know what I mean? The honor roll students. But I'm talking about an entirely different thing. I'm talking about a system. You know what I mean? I'm talking about a situation, a system, and a brand. And when you're dealing with situations like paying for school, you know what I mean? Will that be private school, whatever, Catholic school, whatever. It's a different brand of nails, man. It's just different.
Yeah, I think I've seen it here. Listen, I went to a public school and I hung around the smart kids, and they all did well, right? I mean, all the honor kids went off, and some of them were pharmacists, some of them. But I will say this: I think there's what Haran's saying. Like normally, if you're sending it, because we have a lot of Catholic schools here, a lot of private Catholic schools in New Orleans, and when you're sending your kid and paying more than you pay in college tuition to send your kid to that school, there's going to be pressure that you better not. And those kids aren't going to be acting up in class. When you're in public school, however, you can get a good education. The problem is, are you going to get lost in the sauce? Because there's a lot of stuff to get lost in. And there's the kids that don't have the discipline, or the kids that don't have the, maybe their parents single and working 3 jobs and they don't have, so it's a lot more. And it's almost Like, you don't snitch. It's all kind of prison like in a way. You don't snitch, you don't mouth off, you're gonna get your ass whipped, or you better know how to fight. There's a lot of that, but you don't have that in the Catholic schools or the private schools, because your parents or someone's paying good money, and everybody's kid's parent is paying good money, and they best not be acting up, and they'll get kicked out really fast in those type of situations. So yeah, I know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right.
So I had what did you said you was a 3.8, Mr. Research?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to test something real quick, okay?
I'm on the witness chair now.
No, I want to because I think a 3.8, that's excellent. So I just want to see, because you see this picture here? You see the red mark?
Yes, my lady.
Okay, I'm just wondering if you can fix your frame to look like everybody else's. It's simple, easy instruction. I did the red mark so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You're sinking in your seat, and I'm just not understanding why it's so difficult to fix it. I don't know what it is. You can explain it to me, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's why. I just don't understand why it's so difficult. So I did a little show and tell, because I'm a good teacher. And that's what you have to do, class.
All right, there we go.
Thank you.
Right.
3.8, baby. That's 3.8 for you.
Hey, sometimes I'm too tall for this thing, but it's all good.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right,
good.
guys. Okay,
hey, look, I'll do anything to be part of the discussion. Go ahead.
Okay, so great, actually, great discussion, actually. That was a little bit of fluff. It is Friday night. I wanted to have a little bit of fun. Let's talk about get married for what? Who benefits more? And is it archaic at this point, right? Some people say women benefit more. They live, men benefit when they're married because they live longer. Some people say women filed for divorce first. They end up getting the kids and the alimony and the child support. Get married for what? As we move forward, we spoke about what we spoke about before was a lot of these kids going to be harder to keep their attention in school. You see them fist fighting their teachers because they want to be on their phone. It's a different time now. It's a different time. Is that all across the board with relationship as well, where it's like men don't want to date a woman unless he's taking her out for a cup of coffee, and women are like, I'm making my own money. What's the point? So what do you guys see? Get married for what? Do you still think it's a good thing? Do you think it's only good if you're raising children? Get married for what?
Don't all rush.
Don't all rush to answer.
First of all,
go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. First of all, why did people get married in the first place?
You mean like back in that 1777?
Yes, back when we invented water. Yes. Why did people get fucking married?
Get some more water.
I can answer that.
Trying to get some more water up in this house. If it's 2 people in this house, we're gonna have more water.
What you say, Research?
At a very basic level, yes. Go ahead.
So the first wedding ring from Neymar in Egypt was given in Egypt. It had to do with power. So weddings, before even a lot of these religions start getting talked about, and this is way before Romans, way before Greeks, it was for power and legacy, meaning that this first wedding ring that was in Egypt, it was to signify that after his death, she's still the power structure, the children that come from her are the power structure. And even when you look at England, Russia, this stuff has to do with power and legacy. In my little take, have devolved it into religion. And that's why state marriages are totally different than religious marriages. Religious marriages never had a lot of the state paperwork. So I say all that to say when people go do the research on what I'm saying, and not just take what I say for value, but you go do the research, you'll find that these things had to do with 2 people get together and the Wawa name or the Jaja name last for centuries, if not at least a couple of decades, so that it makes the children better, business-wise and culture-wise. People got a lot of land just on their name. And I'm sorry, Jen, the last thing, even in England, you would see people would have no money, literally no money. But based on their name, they were able to acquire land with simply no money because of their grandfather's or grandmother's name.
Right. So it was based off of resources and stuff like that. Basically, we can agree that it wasn't about love. Okay.
I
So
told y'all the last few times, love fucked this whole shit up. If you want a happy marriage, don't marry for love. Thank you very much.
seriously, it is. It's like, I mean, it's to me, a love in marriage is one of those happy accidents, right? It's like, oh wow, bonus. All right, cool, because in reality, in my view of things, it's like you show up to the table, both parties, right? Just like if you were starting a business, that's your business partner for life. Okay, is what they say. So aren't you going to show up to a business meeting prepared and knowing what you want and what you are able to give, and the other person's asking the same question? It's like, hey, what do you want, and what are you able to give, and I know what I want and I know what I'm able to give, and what are the goals? Okay, common goals. All right, let's go ahead and do this. And then you get together and you realize, like, oh, okay, this is moving smoothly, and after fucking and feeding for a few nights, and then you realize that I might actually love this person. You fucking feed somebody long enough, you could possibly fall in love.
There goes that word love again. So if that was the reason for marriage, right? Is there really still a need for marriage? And I mean the technical marriage where you go down to City Hall and get the blood work or whatever, and you sign the papers or whatever, when some people are doing this and they don't even have any goods to barter.
Well,
Here's the thing.
quickly.
But
There's no need. There's no need. Just like I'm having a surrogate child, and I'm going through a company, Surrogate Roots. Any woman I've ever dealt with, and I walked away from 2 fiancés. When I find that you're being selfish, to Lily's point, or everything is about you and I'm kind of working for you, then this isn't a team. I'm willing to self-analyze myself, self-discipline myself for the sake of this team. But if you're not willing to do that, and you're kind of just taking part and you ready to use the Ronald Reagan option of irreconcilable differences whenever you get a chance, this ain't for me. So I've realized, hey, what do I really want out of this marriage? I want the children. So a couple of guys who are very well-to-do was like, hey, bruh, you got the money. Just go ahead and go through this way. You sit up here and have the child. The child is all yours. I think I want to do the prenup. Man, why waste your time if the child is your most important? So I think you'll start to see over the next decade a lot of guys come out publicly talking about, hey, this is the route we're going. They're going to be shamed for it. But I think people are starting to realize, hey, I'm going to do exactly what the women did in the 80s with the test tube generation.
So you're gonna be a single dad.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And why do you want to have children? Just curious. Like, why do you want to have children? What's the purpose?
Legacy, number one, because I grew up with the legacy concept from my father. And also, I love kids, man. I'm trying to get one of my nephew's sons to pay for his coach, because he can be underwater for 6-7 minutes. He just does it for fun. I like giving back into. So my bloodline will be the same thing.
Okay. And congratulations too.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, you already someone's already pregnant?
No. We're going to do that next summer. I've already did the investigation. I tell everybody, research these companies. Make sure you go through a company, do the investigation. Don't be in a rush. They give you a set of people, investigate them, look at their background, everything. So it takes a while.
Oh, well, give me
Are
none of
you
my
saying?
congratulations until she knocked up Mr. Reed first.
Oh, here you go.
Are you saying? Wait. So I just want to make sure I understand. Are you saying that okay, you're going to have a baby, and the mother's not going to be involved at all?
Not at all.
Okay, I don't
And
like that.
how old are you? I'm just curious. How old are you?
46.
Okay, so you're starting your legacy at 46. When you say legacy, what do you mean? Like, what are you passing down? What is this kid running around with other than your last name? I'm just curious.
Land, property, all of my knowledge from streets up to corporate, just everything, trying to get him a head start. I want him to graduate at 16. I want him to go into college at 16. I want him to start running a little micro business by 13.
So you don't feel like he needs feminine energy. You don't feel like this kid is going to need to be nurtured by a woman. It's just going to be you.
Well, I'm going to get a nanny for some of this, but here's the thing. Ladies have operated without guys for a long time, and our community accepts it and cheers it. I don't think it's strange for me to take what women have been doing for 30 years. I'm a human being too. I'm an individual thinker. And a lot of people are doing this. I know white guys doing it, Syrian guys, Asian guys. It's just not popular, but a lot of guys are doing this.
Do you think that you're conflating when you say that they do it in your community? That's not by choice. It's usually some deadbeat guy or black men using their dicks with abandon. It's not like black women woke up one day and be like, hey, let's be single mothers and fight our baby fathers on the phone for $20 and $40. It's not a cultural choice. Like, yay, let's do this. It's because the black community is fucked up. And black men and black women hate each other for the most part, right? If we go by what we see online all the time, right? But you say it as though it's like, oh, it's celebrated. It's surviving. They're surviving. It's not celebrated. It's not like, yay, let's do this because this is what it's survival. They have to raise the child. They can't abandon the child. So the mother gets stuck with the kid. The father goes and makes 2, 3, 4, 5 kids somewhere else. So I don't think that's the same thing as you having all your faculties and finances and deciding to have a child. I think that's apples and oranges, in my opinion.
So I'll be fair to your argument, because people like to make this narrative of the men are so evil that, because that's what we get put out. Look at the black men in suits. That's evil. You know what I'm saying? We got to denigrate that. That was all over Twitter. So yes, there are a demographic of guys, let's call it 60%, who do stuff off code. But a lot of these women have publicly told you on Oprah, on talk shows, that it wasn't about some evil man. That's just what they wanted to do. And respectfully, when you make that rebuttal, you tend to leave that out. Don't leave that part out, that there's women documented on TV, on saying, hey, it ain't that I ran into a terrible man. I just want to do it myself. LGBT community.
No.
Okay, no? Okay.
Nah.
Like I said, that's the narrative you want to see, Jen, but
no. Women, there is no woman. Wait a minute. Yes, there are outliers that say, I don't want to deal with a man. I don't want a husband. I just want to have this child, right? Okay. No, I'm going to say what I want to say, Mr. Research, and you say what you want to say, okay? All right. So yes, there are outliers. There are women. Who was the famous white lady that did it and it was a big deal? What the fuck was her name? Way back. I think this was the 80s. Was it Murphy Brown? I don't want to get the wrong name. It was a white woman who did it, and she was on Oprah, and it was a big deal.
If she had shoulder pads, it was Murphy Brown.
Right. So my point is, let's not act like, first of all, raising a child is grueling. It's brutal. It's hard. It's not easy, right? It's easier with 2 parents in the home. Right. Even if the parents don't want to be with each other, it's still nice for them to work in tandem and raise that kid together. Right. When we're talking about the Black community, all I'm saying is that there's a lot of conflict on both sides, right? Because the Black experience in America is quite unique, right? Oppression, slavery, look what happened to us. Look what they did, Jim Crow, blah, blah, whoop-de-whoop. We know the story, right? So it's hard for Black men and Black women to get along and be in harmony. We all know that, right? It's conflict on both sides. I'm just saying that the majority of those Black women, I highly doubt that they are preferring to, I don't want to deal with that guy. There's usually conflict. It's usually conflict. And the woman is like, well, I have to raise this kid because the men can just go. That's what I've seen my entire life growing up, where it's like women, they start changing their nature because it's like, fuck it, I got to raise these kids. What am I going to do? He went over there and he's making a baby over there, making a baby over there. That's all I'm saying. That I don't think that Black women voluntary, I'm just gonna have this kid and fuck that nigga. Like, no, she's doing that from survival, right? And that happens to everybody. That's not gender specific or race specific. If you're constantly struggling and you're on survival, you're gonna get into fuck the world mode. That's in general, right? But now you have this kid.
So if I'm understanding, you saying they're having the test tube babies for survival? Because we were talking about the test tube babies and them having the surrogate. So the test tube babies are for survival. Is that what? Maybe
No, I'm not talking about that. You were saying that a lot of Black women are saying, yeah, I want to have a kid on my own.
Through the test tube baby, through the surrogate. I was connecting linear, the surrogate and the test tube baby. I'm saying that there are 30, 40 years of women saying they want to have test tube babies without the father. That's the point.
So you're saying that for 30, 40 years, Black women have been saying, I want to have a test tube baby. Black women.
A lot of them on TV.
That's interesting.
Well, this is what I'll say. I don't think it's a...
That's interesting.
One second. I know a Black woman personally who wanted to divorce her white husband and go to a sperm bank to have another child. I know another Black woman who's also successful, who says she does not want a husband. She wants to go to a sperm bank. There's a number of successful Black women with money right now.
Okay, I think we're having two different conversations. That's where the confusion is. You're talking about the outliers let me finish. You're talking about the outliers, the very successful Black women that don't need a man to have a child. I get that. However, I'm having the conversation of the Black community and Black women raising children on their own. Okay, the average Black woman in any neighborhood in the Black community is not like, I want to have this kid on my own. I don't need no man. And I don't want that narrative to be spun into test tube babies. Those are two different demographics. And that's what I'm saying. We're having two different conversations. I'm not talking about, Miss, I make $500,000 a year and I don't need a man to have a kid. I could go to a sperm bank. And guess what? She's going to end up with white sperm because Black men don't fucking go to the sperm bank.
Okay, then we can say that then. Then the dividing factor, essentially, the deciding factor is said career woman has the resources to exclude a man out of her life. She has the choice to do that. The average woman does not have the resources. That's the choice.
Right, but she still gets stuck raising that child on her own.
True.
Even without the resources.
My whole thing is, I don't think it's a good idea in general. Like, I don't have any problem, Mr. Research. I mean, you're going to do what you want to do. But my whole thing is this. If the child can know his mother, it's better that he should. I think he should know his mother. And the same with the women that are raising their kids, and as Jen's saying, nobody said that they wanted their father to be out of their child's life. I think it's always better. I think it's important for a son to have his father, and for that matter, a daughter to have her father, and vice versa. So I don't think just because people said it was cool, I think it's still wrong. I think that's wrong. Even if you're not staying together, I think a child's going to want to know if now there are tragedies that happen. People lose parents. I get that. And that's nothing you can, that you can control. But if you can control it, I always think it's better for a child to know both parents, whether they're together or not.
So to No Saint's point, I was actually thinking the same thing. And here's why. And I'm not going to go to wrong or right or anything like that, right? This is strictly my opinion, and as we know, has no weight in this situation, and definitely not your situation. But what made me come to that conclusion is I know a lot of people who don't know who one parent or the other is, and it's something that they all have in common. They all have this hole in their soul. They all have this yearning to know that other person of where they came from, right? And so like that's my only concern is because I've seen it in my family. Um, I've seen it in my friends. And it's like no matter I'm talking, no matter how old they get, that is always there until they find that particular person. So I don't know how your situation is set up because they have situations that are set up where the surrogate is in the person's life and but that's like really my only concern when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, it's the same thing they do like in the LGBT community. When they get a kid, nobody says, hey, let's go reach out to that father. It's the same thing when in the Jewish community or whoever community, they have what they have as ladies, and nobody says, hey, I would prefer if the dad was there. Only a few people say it. I just think that sometimes people get angry when they see black dudes have this independent route. And it's like when they see the reverse, well, that's okay because black men are so terrible. That's cool too. Like I said, it is what it is. But back to the topic.
Wait a minute, but wait a minute, but who gets mad? It's in my opinion, it's bad on both ends. It's bad for a woman to raise a child on her own, and it's bad for a man to raise a child on his own. Again, like Lily said, my opinion, it holds no weight. But I think it's selfish. It's selfish. Think about it. I want to have a child for my legacy. I want to put a human being on the earth because I want to fucking manipulate. I want him to graduate by 13. I want him to have a business by 15. That to me is selfish. You are literally having a mini you to manipulate. So that kid is born, maybe he wants to be gay, maybe he wants to be a ballet dancer, maybe he's like, fuck school, right? No, I'm having this kid because I want to mold and play with a toy and graduate by 13 and have a business by 16. And he may do the complete opposite. And that to me is selfish. When you're bringing another human being, a free thinking human being onto the earth, the planet, and I learned this the hard way. I have a child, so I can talk. Okay, she's 30 now. When you're bringing a living, breathing, thinking human being into the world, okay, it is their right to live their life and choose what they see fit. I think parents, and again, this is not race specific, Asians do it, Jewish people do it, everybody does it. It is fucking selfish. Those parents are usually the type that love conditionally. You better finish that school. You better do this by 13. There's my legacy you're fucking with now. Literally, that's why you're having children. Don't fuck with my legacy. Because my legacy is such, you have a fucking Excel program plan before this thing even takes a fucking breath of air. Who the fuck do you think you are? And I'm asking this generally, just in general, to all the parents of the land. Who the fuck do you think you are? Some sort of God? Who do you think you are? You don't bring a living, breathing, innocent, pure thing into the world. You better, it's my legacy. What the fuck do you think you are? And then the kid is tortured. The kid is tortured because it's like, I got to do this because my mama want me to do, my daddy want me to do this. And they rebel any fucking way. Because life, like they said on Jurassic Park, life always finds a way.
So you just told my story of my life, and me and my parents have had that conversation in depth, in full detail. My dad was able to come to that conclusion way quicker than my mom, because my dad realized, like, hold up, all of these issues that I'm having, because I was a free thinker from the time I came out of the womb. I didn't do shit that anybody thought that I was supposed to do, who I was supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. And so, my dad pretty much came to that conclusion early in my life that you just said, that he realized, like, damn, everything that I'm having an issue with has to do with me and my ego. It took my mom a long time to come to that conclusion, and she
Mama
had a
was like,
harder
no.
time. Yeah, she had a harder time. She had a harder time, but and I also had to come to that conclusion as the the child of these two individuals, right? And so yeah, it's a very interesting situation because like I said, it took my mother a long time to understand that she was putting these expectations on me that I didn't sign up for, but I wasn't even here yet when these expectations, because first of all, she always said,
That's my point. You weren't even here.
I wasn't even here yet. Like she would say stuff like, I always wanted boys because girls talk back and the attitude, but look who she got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of these expectations, especially like, I always say people who hate a thing end up birthing a thing, right? So it's very interesting how this life thing goes, but parents have to be very careful about that. And honestly, that was one of the biggest lessons that I wanted to convey in my film about my life, was to listen to your children. That's a whole human being, Like you were just the host to usher them into this world, but it's a whole different human being. So
And I'm passionate about it because I've experienced it, right?
Me
When
too.
you have a kid, you're like, you're going to do this, because you're putting on them the life that you've lived and the stumbling blocks that you've had to overcome. And it's like, how you make money and how you did it and how you view life. And then they're born and you're like, aha, gotcha. You're going to do exactly. And then you're talking to an innocent, like, the fuck? You've been here for 20 some odd, 30 some odd years. I just got here. Can I get comfortable? Can I get used to the place and see what I want? And I try to advise young parents, even my daughter. I'm like, all that shit you think that is important and all that shit you think these children are going to do is going to change. I speak from experience. It's a very selfish thing. And it's something that, as time goes, as we get older, we look back and we're like, fuck, I shouldn't have made a big deal about that thing. I shouldn't have made a big deal about that thing, because you drive a wedge between you and your child. And when you think about it, like you said, Lily, it's like, why did I want this thing for this child? Why did I want this thing? Thank you for the super chat. James Oko says, so you're honestly Youre. So you're honestly telling me, Jen, you think most B are picking men based on who they think will be great fathers. Cut it out. Here's the beauty of the gender wars, James. Here's the beauty of the gender wars. You can flip it. If you're a little bored, you can flip it.
Not bored.
Just in case it is Friday, we're having a good time. You can flip that, James, and ask yourself, so do you think, right, that most men are picking these women because they think they'll make great mothers? Because I know it gets lost on certain people, but it takes two people to make a child. You cannot. A man can't make a child by itself, and a woman can't make a child by herself. They need to connect.
And I will.
Jen, according to James, it's 49-51. 49-51 according to James. You got to remember that.
Okay, who's 90%. The 51? Who's the 50?
I got a question to ask.
Yes.
This is the thing that baffles me about the manosphere. Okay. This sounds like completely flawed logic. When we're discussing who marriage benefits, the constant thing that most of these dudes say is that marriage benefits women more. Okay. Then why do you guilt women into getting married? Aren't you by inherently giving them your power? I don't understand.
No, listen. I think.
Wait one second. What I'm saying is that you're putting yourself in a situation where you're immediately vulnerable. If you, by proxy, are saying that this woman benefits primarily from this, and you are agreeing to put yourself in a situation with a person that they benefit more so than you, by your definition, why are you agreeing to do that? And why are you constantly guilting that person into agreeing to do something that's going to benefit them? I'm just understanding where's the logic in that.
I think that marriage benefits men more, divorce benefits women more. And that's the truth. Men want to be married. There's a lot of perks to being married. End of marriage, not so much, But listen, again, all this stuff we're talking about when it comes to parents, forget who can do it. Like, I don't know, Mr. Research, if that was a projection towards people, as far as you're saying, when a black man does it, it's looked down upon. I can care. I mean, I know you're not talking about me, but I can care less what a person looks like, or who a person is, or what religion they're doing. I think it's a bad idea if you have a chance for a child to know both parents, that you deny that chance, because with DNA, they're going to end up looking for them eventually anyway. Because listen, I've got a nephew, right? Yeah, I got a nephew that's going to come at the end of the month from Canada that my sister gave up for adoption, 40 years ago. I'm going to meet him for the first time. He was looking for his mother, So, and he was all the way in Canada. So I mean, I just think that we shouldn't say because other people can do it, it's a good idea. It's a bad idea, whoever does it. And that's all I'm saying. Do what you want. But I think if leave that, in my opinion, I'm just saying, you don't have, who am I to tell you, but leave that door open.
No, I totally understand. I think what I'm trying to say, Mr. No Saint, everybody gets courage to speak when they see a black guy do it. Asian guy does the exact same thing. Asian woman does the exact same thing. Haran just mentioned 2 ladies he knew. That same person doesn't keep the same energy, and they're mute. They're mute for 40 years. But all of a sudden, these worthless dark-skinned dudes do the exact same thing. You know what? I don't think it's a good thing.
Research,
I don't think it's right. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Research. Respectfully, I have to say you have a huge complex about being a black man. Huge complex. And you're also, and it's not a personal attack.
Let's stick to the topic.
The topic is that you're not sticking to the topic. Whenever we are on a topic, you automatically go to, but if a black man does it, but every time a black man does it, no one's saying anything about a black man doing anything. But I notice every conversation is, yeah, but when the black man does it, that shows an insecurity and a complex, right? What we're saying is it's not a good idea. Let me just use myself. What I said was, I don't think it's a good idea for men or women to have a child on their own. I stick by that. I stand 10 toes down. But what you hear is, when a black man does it, what about Asians? What about Jewish people? You keep deflecting to other people. They can do it. Why can't a black man do it? Because when a big dark-skinned black man does it, what are you talking about? Who has said that? What's the consensus? What survey have you read? Where are you? So I'm just observing, because you always default to, but when a black man does it, no, I said, I don't think it's a good idea for men or women. And it's such not a good idea that the kid eventually craves to find out, what's the other half of me? Who's my dad? Who's my mom? That's where I'm coming from. But you always, I don't know why. So I'm just, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I see a complex. It's a constant. Imagine me sitting up here. Oh, but a Puerto Rican woman, now that a Puerto Rican woman is doing it, now everybody is bold to talk about it. You're going to be like, do you have an issue with being a Puerto Rican woman? What's behind that? Right? So I just find it strange. It's something that I observe. You always default to, but when a black man does it, no, it's bad for the Asian. It's bad for the white guy. It's bad for the green guy. It's bad for the LGBT. You know what I mean? I think it's best with 2 parents. But my concern is not even that, because a lot of people raise amazing children, right, on their own. If they have to, they do what they got to do, right? They get the uncle to step in if the kid doesn't have a father. They get the auntie to step in if the kid doesn't have a mother. I know a couple people who are single fathers and single mothers, and they supplement with relatives or nannies. Like you said, you're going to supplement with a nanny. I'm just saying personally, I think it's a bad idea, but I just don't understand why the default is always that. But when a black man does it, what are you talking? No one is saying that. It's bad all around. It's bad all around.
So I would hope that you really try to understand. That's not my narrative. That's the red herring that you're trying to give me. You're trying to give me a label. So when you say, hey, I slept with a black man, that's not my opportunity to say to you, hey, you always bring that up. That's your way of explaining your point. I was explaining my point to Mr. No Saint, and then now you've remixed it and gave me a label because you don't want me to express that point. You want me to stick to something else. I don't do that to you when you say,
No,
hey,
I want you to
with a black man. I slept
No,
with a black man,
you.
so I
I
know.
slept with an abundance of black men. They're
I know,
wonderful.
but my point is,
Okay, so
you're doing a mixtape. You're trying to remix my words to fit a different narrative.
no, I'm really okay. So have you heard him come up here, chat, panel? Does he always default to? But when a black man does it, and no one's even but that's what you do.
I'm
so I
trying
can't
to
do
address
it.
Mr. Saint's point.
I know, but that's what you do. It's weird. You don't like mirrors.
Okay,
it's weird.
It's
a little strange.
I'll try to make the point next time, Mr. Saint.
Actually, the chat.
I gotta wear this
strange.
No, actually, the chat actually answered that question before you even asked the question, because they were wondering the same thing. I wanted it the last time you were here as well, because you always bring up the queer people when I bring up just anything. Because I said I don't like it when. I said my only problem is, and I named what my problem was. I don't care who does it. No Saint named what his problem was, and he named it what it was, and Jen named or whatever. I noticed it the last time. I noticed it this time. So I'm gonna bring it up later on, but I'm glad Jen brought it up because it's something to talk about. Because they noticed it too. They asked the same question in the chat. So, yeah.
Well,
maybe you don't notice it.
If a person is not used to the way a person is structuring their argument, and you cut them off, then you're not going to understand. You cut them off to say you don't understand, and then you go on the thing about label, you must be this, you. No, I'm trying to express to Mr. Saint a point he made, but in the best way that I can articulate it. But if I need to do it in the style that you understand it, I don't know how to do that, because everybody is free to express how they wish to express. Look, I've been taking public speaking since darn 10th grade. So I've never had the issue. And matter of fact, this is why I go on panels like this, is to find challenging discussions. But let's take it off me, because I don't think I'm being understood. So let's get back to the marriage thing, because I think that's a great topic.
Well, I'll say this. You're a smart man, but I think it's cowardly to pretend you're not passive aggressive. You are very passive aggressive, okay? And you throw little jabs, and then you smile and you act coy about it, right? And you do that. Now you can deny it. I took literally your words. You always default to, but when a black man does it, what about the Asian guys over there? What about the white? I'm just repeating what you say. So what you do is you throw jabs. If it's Lily saying it, well, the LGBTQ. If it's me saying it, I didn't bring up you sleep with black men. I don't know what your thing is with that I sleep with black men. I don't know what's the thorn in your side. I don't know. I don't need to qualify. And let me say this, because I say this often. I don't need to qualify my opinion of the black community. I don't need to qualify it. I don't need to say that I've ever touched a black dick in my life. I can have an opinion about white, black, Latin, Asian, and I don't have to qualify it to you, Mr. Research, or to anybody black. I am allowed my opinion across the board. And if y'all don't like it, y'all can fuck off and never come back here. Right? That's always been my attitude for the past 2 years since I've been doing this, you know what I mean, continuously. So I noticed that you throw jabs like the kind of like, just because you've slept with a black man doesn't mean that X, Y, and Z, right? I don't have to qualify it to you. But again, it's just something, because we're all adults here. We're all adults and we're just communicating. There's just a conversation. Maybe it's something you haven't noticed, but you are passive aggressive.
I doubt
You are passive aggressive. You say your little things, then you smile about it. You'll throw a jab at Lily. You'll throw a jab at me. If it's No Saint, you'll throw a jab at no. You'll bring up the age, and I'm just like, can we move forward and have a conversation without you using the violin of being a black man? I'm just wondering if we could do that.
It's not that. It's that you're very good at throwing jabs, but you never had a person do the same exact thing. So, you know, I think I don't make the intent of throwing jabs. I'm saying the exact
But I'm
same
telling
thing.
you, no, listen.
I know you're trying to give me the label.
What label?
The label you just gave me of coward and all these other words.
What label? I think someone who doesn't admit, listen, Here, watch this.
See, you're cutting me off again.
No,
but you're trying to
watch
understand.
this. Watch. I let you talk for a while. You're long-winded. Let's not do that. You're very long-winded.
But you're
okay?
trying to label me
We're
to
because
try to
that's
change my narrative.
Because listen, I'm just on the block with Jen. When you leave this panel, it's not going to. My opinion is not going to change your world, is it? Okay, so I'm making an observation. All right, watch this. I am extremely sarcastic. I throw jabs all the time. I write comedy, so you're always going to get a joke from me. You see how easy that was for me to admit who I am in front of the world, because nobody's going to do a fuck about it. That's just how I am. Now, when I say you're passive aggressive, you deny it. When I say you have a complex about being a black man, you deny it. Although we've seen it repeatedly, you deny it. You hide behind, don't label me. Don't label me. I am telling you, you are passive aggressive and you throw jabs. You throw the rock, but then you hide your hand. Right? So my thing is, all I'm saying is, listen, as a friendly advice, you're passive aggressive, and maybe it's something you don't notice.
No,
but in my opinion, it's cowardly in a mature conversation. We're having a conversation. You don't need to be passive aggressive, or you come up here and say 3 against 1. You always have to prefix your appearance. It's 3 against 1. I like coming up here though. It's passive aggressive and it's immature.
No, you just want to win the discussion. You just want to win the discussion. You repeated the same thing.
Win what discussion? What am I going to win?
You repeated the same
what
thing
am I gonna
4
win?
times in an effort to try to play this narrative. I'm
What
just having a
narrative?
discussion. What it is you don't like people doing the exact same thing you're doing.
What are you talking about? But what are you talking about?
See, even you doing it now, you find it hard to deal with.
What are you doing that I can't handle?
About what Mr. No Saint was saying, but you're so used to people agreeing with you.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I'm not going to allow. No. This is what I'm not going to allow.
Have a polite conversation.
No, you're not. You're passive aggressive and you're immature.
You must agree with Jen in order to have this conversation.
No, there it is. There it is.
That's crazy.
There it is. There it is. You're always making mention that we're an echo chamber, and when you can't get it from us, you run in the chat and say, hey, audience, I'm talking to you. It's bizarre that you need people to agree with you in order to have a mature conversation.
There's the person who just asked the panel to agree with her.
It's immature. No, I was asking, do they see it? Because they're mentioning in the chat the same thing that I said. It's immature.
You're just not used
and it's
to
passive aggressive.
And evidently, it
no,
intimidates
listen, sweetheart.
You have
sweetheart.
You must be intimidated by it.
Okay.
Because I'm just trying to have a conversation with No Saint.
Okay.
And now we've spent the past 10 minutes.
You're on a panel though, so it's not you and No Saint. No Saint does have a channel if you want to go over there and just speak to him, but you're on a panel right now. This is a collective. This is a collective.
I'm gonna humble myself, Jen.
So let me say this. Absolutely. So let me say this. Do me a favor, and at the very least, Mr. Research or C-Lay Trader, whatever you're calling yourself today, okay? Let me just say this. Please humble yourself, okay? I've spoken to scholars, all right? People that are way more mature than you, okay, have emotional maturity, are not passive aggressive, say it like it is. I've debated really, really intelligent men. I have friends that are really, really intelligent men. They don't bicker with me. They don't throw jabs. They are not passive aggressive. We get along famously and we have great debates. Great debates. All right? No holds barred, great debates. But talking to you, you're thinking that I'm intimidated. No, I'm annoyed because I loathe immature men. I loathe them. So what you see is annoyance, not intimidation. Nothing about you will intimidate me. Nothing. No, do you know how high in life you'd have to be for me to be like, oh my God, I'm nervous. That guy is on the panel again. You don't qualify. And I'm just keeping it 100. And I don't even say that insultingly. You do not qualify to intimidate me. Okay? I guarantee some of the men I know would intimidate you, but you, sir, do not qualify to intimidate me. So what you see is annoyance, because I just want to have a conversation without somebody crying about they a black man in America. I want to have a conversation without people being passive aggressive. I want to have a conversation without someone throwing jabs at my panel. That's all. That's all. That's really, honestly, wholeheartedly what I want to do. But you come up here, you prefix it 3 against 1. I like having these conversations. No one's going to agree with me. Hey, chat, do you want to? It's because I'm a black man. It's like, it's immature and it's passive aggressive. Let's just talk, brother. Let's just have a conversation. We know you're black. We can see you. You're a black man in America. We got it. Let's have a conversation. That's it. It's simple. Dios mío. Apparently, Miss Ruth, she's talking about our skit, Lily. Lord Almighty, can we get back
the
to
big
get
spoon.
getting the big spoon? That was classic. Can we get back? This might be risky. Why don't you drop more than $2 if you want to see a fight? Talk about fight back with $2. It's Friday, sir. I know you got paid either yesterday or today. Want to see a fight for $2? Shame on you. Okay, we can move forward.
With this whole marriage thing, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They don't make it look appealing.
You always say that.
They really don't.
You always say that.
I mean, Facebook makes it look appealing. I swear. Instagram makes it look appealing. The cover of Essence magazine makes it look appealing. But when you sit down with these same people, you're like, oh, really? So that's what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you all hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, those vacation pictures look really good. All right, yeah. You know, it's really interesting because I noticed another thing. Usually the people who you know in real life, they're like, and you know behind closed doors what's really going on. They're the main ones online fighting like for everybody to get married. And I'm like, oh, that Misery Loves Company thing is some real shit. Because I know what's going on up in your house. And now I see you all up in the comment section like defending why everybody should be married. And I just don't feel like the majority of the population even qualifies for marriage for a number of different reasons. And I'm going to give you a couple. One, the fact is that we're not fucking monogamous. Okay. Like naturally, that's the first thing. The other thing is we change so much throughout life. Like if you just look at your own life and who you were at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, those 5 different people. I know for me, it's 4 different people. I'm just saying, you know. So it's just like, how do you expect, as you're becoming different people each decade, that person to keep up with you, and y'all still just go on the same trajectory forever and ever, you know? And that's why, especially when I see younger people talk about marriage, I just instantly just be like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Who does this? Like, you know? So those are my things.
I like what you said about like how the majority of people don't qualify. I think a lot of people go into it because of tradition. Again, the indoctrination of just like, well, this is what adults do. They grow up, they get married, they have babies. This might be lucky. Thank you, darling. Thank you for the super chat. He says, fight back, Mr. Research. I hope he can respond. And then he hit me back with, thank you for the second super chat. He says, LOL, Jen, I'm blessed to work for myself. As you should. Congratulations. Fight back, Mr. Research. I hope he can respond. Mr. Alignment, no, sir. No need to play a character. No need to play a character. What you see is what you get here, man. Yeah, so, you know, I can't ask I can't ask Nelson because it'd be too personal. But who do you think at this point in 2023, with the explosion of social media, who honestly would qualify? Because I see people not only in marriage but in relationships, and they take their commitment very, very loosely. Flirting, forget flirting. These people are like in full-blown, full-time friendship situationship.
Fuck ships
with social media, where it's like, I always say, it's impossible for a spouse to compete with 300 people in your comments liking a picture or even laughing at your jokes. I'm not just talking about women. I'm not just talking about women, but men, they get to be their happy-go-lucky selves, and now they have 300 women laughing at their jokes versus their wife at home, the old ball and chain. How can you honestly compete with that in 2023? How can you compete with that? It's always going to feel better online to have a lot of people like you, right? Versus the old ball and chain who doesn't get the joke anymore.
Who doesn't get the joke anymore? I never got it and just was pretending to laugh, but now I know what you long enough and it's like, you know, I never thought you was funny, right? So I don't know. Listen, I think about this. Who does qualify? I'm thinking like people in like super small towns or something, like farming towns or something, like things like that. But if you're living in like a city or even like a place that just has a lot of people in general, on top of the social media stuff, then you start dealing with, because I think about this all the time. Before social media, your competition was around the way and in the job, school, or whatever, but now it's the world. That's crazy. And trying to stay focused in this society, especially for young people, see, for us, social media came a little bit later, so we got some life experience under our belt, and even then this shit's difficult. So I'm just trying to understand how with this newer generation, how the fuck are they planning on doing this? Like, for real, I seriously think about this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree that listen, this monster, this real-time experiment that we're going through right now with social media, and it's not just recent. It's now we're talking about at least 20 something years where I think about like the kids growing up now, and even people who are not kids, just in general, who've had access now to porn on your phone, is really, it desensitizes you to where I think there's going to be a lot more sexual dysfunction, you know, because what used to be taboo, you see more and more of that on you can just grab it on through porn, and it becomes less of a shock. So now you're looking for something else that turns you on. So just in that aspect, I think we're going to be, it's going to be messed. I think I was never one. Listen, I don't want anybody to ban anything, obviously, but I don't think it's a good thing just in this avenue to have access to all this porn. I think it's going to cause more problems than anything. That being said, for what you're saying, yeah, I mean, and that goes for if you want to say it, Instagram liking, all these liking of these girls with the BBLs and all this it's the same type of thing. It's just constant stimulation. I just don't think it's healthy. And you know me, I don't have I'm not conservative and I'm not religious. So it has nothing to do with that. It's just something I'm kind of observing. I kind of wonder, like, how is that gonna affect if you get married? It's more likely. Okay.
Let me throw down the link for James Oko because he want to suck Mr. Research dick on the panel. So you can come on.
Here we go. These shots are amazing. Ain't these shots amazing?
Wait a minute.
I know I ain't.
No, definitely not. Far from it. And I'm gonna be respectful because I was about to tell you why you could never, but far from it. Come on up here, James Oko, because this guy needs backup for his Stanford debates.
And as far as what I want to say something that Mr. Oko said earlier. It's exactly what Erica and I did do. As we thought, I wonder, I think this is going to be a good father. Oh, I think this is going to be a good mother. When he said, "Who does that?" Now that's anecdotal, but that was high on the list. That was like, so I mean,
but then, like sex makes babies, right? And people like having sex. So I said it before, there's a bajillion kids on this planet. Nobody wanted. Neither parent. They wanted to have sex. They wanted an orgasm. They didn't want them raggedy ass kids. The kids, unfortunately, are the result of two people wanting to fuck. That's why this happens over and over again.
Which is one of the reasons why I feel like queer people on the earth to go ahead and take over the overflow from the damn adoption agencies. Because everybody cares about kids are in the womb, but no one cares about a fucking kid that's born. So it's like, okay, kid, come on, I guess you can live with me, you know. But it is what it is.
So, Mr. Saint, you're absolutely right. I work in medical, and that is happening to a lot of 6th graders and 7th graders. So you're right.
But as far as marriage goes, right?
So what did I miss?
Are
Like,
people?
we're still doing the passive aggressive thing, and
oh no, she's intimidated. She's intimidated. Don't start her again. Please don't start her again.
Originally, he passive aggressively was basically saying that the guys on here mostly agree with Jen. Passive aggressively, he was saying that, while also arguing that he's not passive aggressive. That was.
In retaliation.
It's okay. His backup is here. Go ahead, James.
That was made.
James is in the building. It's a party now. All right, Mr. Research got his Stanford backup. What you got, James?
You gotta have somebody go with pandering Haran.
But look at his. He's halfway up the. He's halfway up the screen. He needs to fix his.
Fix your frame, sir.
Fix your frame. Fix your frame. Damn it.
Is this good now?
Tilted down. I did want to ask this question though. Do you think that human beings, but specifically men, are in denial because women file 80% of the time and it's growing, right? So going back to something No Saint said, men want to be married, and it seems like statistically women want out of marriage. So are human beings in denial that marriage is still necessary, or are men just keeping hope alive that they're going to marry this woman and she's going to stay and tolerate him for the rest of her life? Women want out. 80%? That's staggering. If I was a man, I would not fucking do it.
I'm always wondering why people are still doing it too. Can someone answer some questions? Because I really want to know. Especially if you're not having children. Especially those people. I really want to know why they get married. I can understand the children people. Like, okay, y'all got a good enough excuse. But the people who are like myself, who just know that they're not going to have children, like, no, I'm not doing that. Why y'all doing that? Just want to know.
James, you were going to say something?
Yeah. How's everybody doing today?
We are superb. I'm intimidated because I never seen, a man so smart in all my life. So his YouTube debates are undefeated on YouTube. So other than being, ghastly afraid and intimidated, I'm great. I'm great tonight. How are you?
I'm good.
Let me drink some water. I'm so intimidated. This guy's smart as fuck.
Well, it's a couple of things, right? Okay. When I'm typing in the chat, right? I'm typing so fast and like.
You want to defend your spelling, James?
Look, I have some typos, right? I mean, I know the difference between your and your. You know what I mean? But sometimes spell check will actually fuck you up. You know what I mean? So I just want to let you know that. Like, all right, and
that's true.
And then look, this is the thing, right? So when I come on this platform, I have to know this: it's on the block with Jen, not on the block with James, not on the block with Mr. Research, not on the block with any. It's on the block with Jen. So this is your platform, and you're a woman, right? So I have to respect that, and I understand that it's going to come from your point of view because you live the life of a woman, right? So when you come up here, you're going to create the topics, and you're going to speak from your point of view as a woman. In defense of Mr. Research, and oh yeah, by the way too, like all that suck him off stuff. I mean, come on, like you didn't have like that was kind of
Yeah,
I never
yeah, but you've heard me
disrespected
say
you.
that. Yeah, no, but you've heard me say, and you have disrespected me. You've disrespected a couple people. What is it with Friday night? Everybody comes up here, nobody knows who the fuck they are anymore. You've been disrespectful. That's why you got blocked before. This guy is passive aggressive. No one can admit who the fuck they are tonight. What is going on?
Well,
Wait,
David
What is in
Dillon
the air?
David Dillon is giving out.
I remember you said some crazy shit about Spro Show a couple of times, calling them Baby Drake, talking about that light-skinned nigga, all kinds of stuff.
These dudes are always disrespectful.
Here I come
Yeah,
to save the
brother,
day.
You do some shots at Spro Show.
Baby Drake.
Oh no, he called me a transformer last week.
Exactly.
It wasn't even funny. Make this shit funny. If you're gonna take shots, make it funny. Make it good, James.
We're so
I'm the man.
intimidated up here. Listen, we're so intimidated up here that this guy came up to save the other one, the Stanford debater.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying
You
that
literally said in Mr. Research defense.
And y'all cut him off.
You ain't let me finish.
Yeah, defend him because he needs the help. Defend him, James.
When he says, "Oh, if a black man did it," he's just speaking from his point of view because he's a black man. So if he says,
But nobody was attacking. But nobody was attacking him. It was out of place.
Yes, you did.
It was out of the blackness. I said because you're a black man, you're having a test tube baby. Who said that?
Jen, I was speaking to Mr. No Saint, and you got
said that?
offended.
He didn't say because he didn't mention your race. You got offended. You stay offended. They're black people. If they don't bring up the plight of their blackness, they have no identity. It is literally part of their bio. I am a black man oppressed in America, and I want to have a test tube baby, and I got a 3.8. But that fucking I'm a black man and oppressed in America is always part of the bio. And I'm like, let it the fuck go. No Saint didn't mention your race.
It's not your
but
decision.
No Saint. All right, but it's my decision to point it out. See how that works?
Yeah,
Right,
but
it's
four
kinda
times
like-
you point out the same thing 4 times. You're trying to stop
You
what I'm
point
saying.
you point out the same thing every time you're up here. You prefix it with, oh, there's an echo chamber here, but I'm gonna come up here anyway. Oh, it's 3 against 1 here, but I'm gonna come up here anyway. You do the same fuck shit every time you come up here too. That is who we are. That is what we do. Everybody does what they do every time they're here. No Saint does him. I do me. James does him. Matter of fact, y'all the passive aggressive butt buddies because James does the same thing.
Okay,
James
so,
does the same fucking thing. Okay, he
so
does
Mr.
the
Research,
same thing.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm
Research,
sorry
you
I
gotta
hurt you,
understand.
Jen.
We
I'm sorry.
playing.
Jesus.
You wish you could. You wish you could, honey.
Because you need a hug at this point.
You wish you could, honey. Hug a treadmill. Go ahead, James.
Treadmill's doing good. Treadmill's
Yeah,
doing good.
James.
Treadmill's doing real good.
Go ahead, James.
Thank you, little person.
Uh-huh. Little person with a 6-pack. Let's see yours.
Hey, you gonna see mine and then what? Drop? You gonna see mine
Show
and then drop?
that 6-pack.
Go ahead, James. You've seen it, James. Go ahead, James. You were saying. Hi, Brienne.
No, but what I was saying with this, like,
Gotta go check
what I
on
was
my
saying
laundry.
was,
It's getting real dirty.
Yeah, go pander, Haran. Go
and you know
pander.
what, Haran, I see you had the suit on your
Oh
iPad.
no! You see, I'll just say one thing.
I'm glad I'm influencing.
No, wait a minute. I'm gonna cut both of y'all off because the main difference between both the YouTube people and me, it's not our panda. It's just I say what the fuck I said. I don't have to explain shit to anybody.
No, it ain't about saying what the fuck you
No.
said.
I don't have to explain my
You
stance.
just jump in the champion what
Oh,
Jen
I
said.
don't have
I'll
to explain
protect
my
you, Jen. Fly through the
Here's
air.
the problem. Here's the other problem. You
Like
want to
Captain
see me
Sable.
constantly
And James is protecting
and
you.
now she coming to protect you.
And James is protecting you. He's playing Captain
You know,
Saberho.
family.
He's
Guess
protecting
what, though?
you. He's
Guess
protecting
what, though? At the
you.
end of the day, let's keep it 100 though. Let's keep it 100. That's my people. I don't know you, bro.
No, true that. True that.
We both black
True
men.
that. And I'm
We're
saying what I'm
supposed to
saying.
be sort of allegiance.
No,
I got a
no,
dead
you
body
good.
with me. Only one of you is motherfucking gonna keep your mouth shut. And let's just call it what it is. I don't know you,
Yeah,
bro.
let's call it what it is.
You know what I
let's
mean?
call
I
it
don't
what it
know you. So it is what it
I
is.
don't know you either, but
Passive
all this
aggressive.
stuff that you're doing.
That's my
All
people
this
at the end of the
personal
day.
stuff. I don't
I'm not
know
gonna
you.
sit here. No, I'm
That
not
sounds
gonna
like-
sit
that
here
sounds like you
and
tripping.
violently
Man,
beat
James,
on
back
her
to you,
every
man.
day.
Homeboy is really
Because,
tripping at this
this
point.
goes for you
He
and
getting
everybody
personal
out
for some
there.
reason.
Mr.
gonna
Research
try
is so
to
hurt. He's so hurt because he's
I find
black.
it funny.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not
This is
You
hilarious.
hurt because you black.
This is hilarious.
Your whole existence is I'm a black man, oppressing America, and I'm a fight, but I'm
No,
gonna have this
not.
tattoo baby to leave my land.
I'm not gonna beat on
It's
every
weird,
day
bro.
because y'all got trauma. Y'all want to see trauma violence. Y'all get off on seeing women getting beat. Y'all got that Kevin Samuel shit going on. Y'all been addicted to that kind of shit. I'm not gonna beat on every day, man. What's wrong with y'all? Whatever issue I got, what I say with it behind the scenes.
True.
But you
Oh
gotta
God,
puff-
y'all don't
you
see
gotta
it.
puff up.
They don't
You
see
gotta
what y'all
puff
go
up.
through.
I don't need you can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't have to, perform for niggas. I don't give a fuck about men. I don't give a fuck about male approval.
I got
Y'all
it. Let me.
I don't give a fuck
I
about
will
men.
say that.
That's the difference. I don't give a fuck about
I will say that there is this need because Haran and I we go at it, boy,
Woo, boy, y'all have no idea.
About what? About what? I'm just curious. Give me one thing. About what?
about
Everything.
everything.
About everything about sitting here. We talk about
Yeah,
everything.
we go at it, but the difference is,
See,
but the
there's
difference.
times- Wait one second, Jay. There's times when here's the irony of it. I'll keep it 100 with you. There's times on here when the actual speaking points that you guys have, I'll say the same shit to her behind closed doors, and we'll go at it. But I won't do it in front of y'all because I don't want to give you motherfuckers the satisfaction of seeing her getting motherfucking beat on in public and shit like that. You're not getting that satisfaction. This ain't for your entertainment. You sit back, you watch On the Block with Jen. I got a problem with Jen. Me and Jen talk about it behind closed doors because that's what men do. Because at the end of the day, I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman, baby.
So let me jump in real quick. Thank you, Tab Records. Anybody who watches this show knows it's not an echo chamber. It's just when people come up here and they don't get agreed with, they start kicking and crying in the car, like they didn't agree with me on the block with Jen. It's happened before. It happens a lot. I got rid of all those people, I think. But I just want to make a point to what Haran said. A lot of Black men have a complex. Now, this is in general. A lot of Black men have a complex about being Black men in America. And I said it before. I've defended Black men because I'm like, growing up Black in America, okay, gives you PTSD off the bat. You don't see yourself represented well. Okay, you don't see yourself when you see yourself in movies, you're thugs and robbers. There's a lot of shit that goes on. You get PTSD without ever getting punched in the face, just having dark skin in this country. I'm well aware of that. However, these men carry that shit. They carry it. They can't omit it out of a conversation. Everything is because I'm Black. It's because I'm Black, right? And they don't even realize that they carry it until somebody points it out. And only the ones that will listen with wisdom will be like, damn, do I do that? Damn, I probably do that. The rest of them are just like, no, it's because I'm Black. You're attacking me because I'm Black. It's because I'm Black. America gives Black people PTSD, okay? They are not free to be themselves. They're just not. So they carry this because I'm Black thing. They also have issues with women. So when they disagree with women, they want to see men beat up on women publicly, right? That's why Mr. Researcher said, Haran, oh, you're pandering. Oh, you just agreeing with her to agree with her, right? He's not the first.
That's a lie.
He won't be the last. He's not the first. He will not be the last. You know how many men have come to this panel? You just agreeing with her. You just agreeing with her. I'm talking about, I lost fucking count. Whenever a man agrees with me, the other men's dicks fall off. They cannot stand to see a man, especially a Black man that mirrors their complexion, agree with me. It hurts their soul, right? And we see this a lot in the manosphere. The manosphere likes to see women get destroyed. Women gets dragged. Women gets put in her place. Like they beat off to that. That's why they loved Kevin Samuels. That's why they loved Andrew Tate. Hold on, James. Hold on, James. Hold on, James. Of course, because y'all are the men. Y'all are literally Exhibit A. Literally Exhibit A. So when men agree with me, it fucking it curls your dick up your ass. It really does, because you're like, no, you got to be on my side. We're Black men. We have to stick together in this Black plight. We got to fight together, Black men. And that's why I am so happy that the Black men I know and love and I call friend don't have this Black scar. I'm Black. It's because I'm black. I am so happy that the men I know, and Haran is one of them, don't run around crying, about their black. It's because I'm black, right? It's because I'm black. It's a horrible existence. But even with that said, I'll say this. I understand why y'all feel that way. I understand what this country has done to you. I sincerely understand. But get your shit together because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You just become this whining baby. You become the fucking nagging wife of America. That is what you become. The fucking nagging wife of I want reparations. It's because I'm black. You are the fucking nagging wife of America. And life moves on. And when I say life, I'm including black men who are fucking kicking ass in this country and would make y'all look like y'all are fucking welfare babies. Okay? The black men in this country who are the fucking elite black excellence that y'all talk about are kicking ass in this country. And you would never hear them having these stupid conversations about why you agreeing with a woman. It's because I'm black. You would never hear those black men having these conversations. You guys are diminished to these conversations because you refuse to remove that own dick you have up your ass. You are diminished to these conversations. You're talking about Stanford debates, but you're up here talking about test tube babies and you don't need a woman to have a fucking child. Mr. Stanford debater, cut the shit, all right? What the block is not going to do is let you get away with the bullshit, and that's why you don't like it. This is not an easy panel.
Oh, no, that's why
it's never been an easy panel. It's never been an easy panel.
Yes. Haran attacked James when he was talking to Jen. That's what I call pandering, not because
you see he keeps going back. You see he keeps going back.
You're trying to do it again.
If I agreed with you, because you interrupted me. I didn't finish talking because you interrupted me. If he was agreeing with you, okay, and you guys do this, you guys are insecure, you come up here, you try to hijack the show, you're not the first or the last. I've kicked guys off of here that were way smarter than you, dude. You guys do this. You're hurting for attention. You're hurting because you're a black man in America. You're hurting because shit ain't working out. You're constantly fighting this country because you're a black man. You're not the first or the last. You're not an anomaly. You're not an anomaly. You're actually part of a huge demographic. You're not an anomaly. You're just not.
Oh man!
Get therapy.
Saying it 6 times don't
YouTube panels are not the answer. Get therapy. YouTube panels are not the answer. Get therapy.
You're right. Thank you for switching the topic.
Get therapy. This shit is fucking sad, man. Right? I sit with my friends, black men, and we laugh at this shit.
Hey, I'm laughing now
at this shit.
These
men will be like, what does he mean he was pandering? It's the same. Y'all use the same fucking words. Y'all use the same fucking words. Pandering, echo chamber, strawman argument, hyperbole. Y'all use the same fucking words. It's sad. Shit is sad.
Hey, look, I hear you though. Thank you for cutting James off and not letting him get his point in.
It's sad. And then you need a little circle jerk. Like, James, come save me. James, come save me. It's sad, man. Stand on your own. You're a man.
The same sentence over and over again.
You're a man. Stand 10 toes down. You are a man.
That's what I'm doing, and that's what you don't like.
Stand on your own. Stand on your own.
That's why you
stand on your own. No, you're annoying. It's not that I don't like. It's that you're annoying. I'm not used to. No, the men I know don't bow down. They are men.
We ain't talking about the men.
They are men. They are men.
You being intimidated.
Well, don't be mad at me because you're intimidated by the type of black men I know. Don't get mad at me. Man up. Man up. Man up.
Well, we got to let James speak because you guys are cutting him off trying to write his own.
Man up.
No, wait a minute. No, he can wait. He can wait.
Okay, let me ask you something, Mr. Ron going to do the attack again. Go ahead, Ron. Let's rock out.
No. Let me ask you something, Mr. Research, because it's funny how you're very you're very passionate about him being attacked unfairly. Just keep one thing in mind, and I'm about to go downstairs. Keep one thing in mind. The most unproblematic person on this panel is Lily, and he called her a transformer the other day. Out of pocket, he did that. That's the person that's the person you come into bat for. I want you to.
That's who he can relate to. That is who because they're both passive aggressive. They're both passive aggressive. It's cowardly. It's cowardly. It is cowardly. But again, not the first Not going to be the last. These guys do that. They're attracted to come. They're attracted to this panel like flies on shit because we bother them. We actually intimidate
No, I
them.
think it's good
So
practice
they
to
come up here.
I think it's
They
good
come up here. They come up here. Okay. And they're intimidated. And then they go cry in the car and get mad and talk shit about me on other panels. You're not the first or the last. The two of you do the same shit. The
No,
exact same shit.
I don't do it. But
Okay.
thank you for your
I-
narrative that you keep repeating.
I would just like
Okay.
to say that I'm also a friend of Jen's that doesn't say it's because I'm black. Just want to put that out there.
Good point. Good point.
And I'd like to say something. Listen, in all honesty,
No.
and I take him for his word because I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to call him a liar. James did say that the reason he said Transformer is he didn't want to get the channel in trouble if he said something else.
And I
So
thought it was
I just want
bullshit.
to put that in.
And I thought it
Okay,
was bullshit. Yeah.
that's fine. I'm just saying I'm not gonna I'm gonna take him
And
at his word.
let me just say this now that we're on it because I wasn't going to bring it back up again, but let's just since we're on
Leave
it,
that
right?
mistake. In what world would
Yeah, right.
transgender get kicked off a goddamn
Let
channel?
Lily,
Right.
let Lily respond, and then we can respond.
Because I know James apologized, and I just wanted the show to continue the other day, but since it's back up, let's be really clear about something. I said it earlier, that particular stream, but I don't think James heard it. I said that I don't apologize for things that I say because I meant that shit. Okay. And so I don't accept apologies for words as well. What I do accept is ownership. And that's what perturbed me more than anything. And it goes well with this particular conversation that we have, James, because that is a thing you do. You throw your rock and hide your hand. What I would have liked from you that day is to say, you know what, Lily? I did say that shit. I would have been like, okay, we cool. Because like I said to you on that day, you're entitled and allowed to be whatever. You can be transphobic, you can be homophobic, you can be any of those things. You can be racist, you can be whatever you want. You don't, who the fuck am I to you? Right? So you don't have to act as if you didn't mean what you meant because it's very clear the way you said it, the way you chuckled, the way you thought you got away with it. I would have appreciated ownership over an apology. I don't care about apologies for words. So I just wanted to be clear about that. Next time, just ownership. Okay.
I like ownership too. But again, that's why I said that these two are very, very similar. I do want to ask No Saint a question. And this is an honest question. No Saint, you've been here for a while. James, every time he comes, James is so disrespectful. He got blocked from this channel. But if you pay, you could get back, you could get unblocked, right? But his reputation on his channel was being passive aggressive, disrespectful to a number of people here. Okay, disrespectful in the chat. That's his reputation, right? As far as coming to the block, that's his reputation, right? So, let's just look at a little bit of evidence. With all of that, you really think that he said Transformer because he didn't want my channel flat? Let me finish the question.
Okay.
You really think he's this guy with the past of him being passive aggressive, okay, disrespectful to a number of people on this panel, all right? You really think that Transformer, a word that is insulting to the transgender community, you think that he really said that to save my channel from being flagged? Like, you really think that?
Well, I don't listen. First of all, I didn't realize like that word is something that's thrown around. I mean, like you just told me. So, but I will say this. I've heard people use different words on platforms to try not to get the channel in trouble. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know, I understand what you're saying. I was trying to
they
judge.
Don't chuckle afterwards. They don't chuckle.
Okay,
afterwards.
well, I don't. I didn't. I don't remember exactly how it went down as far because that was I don't know what it was last week or something like that. So I don't remember seeing. I was just probably not even looking at them. But so all I'm saying is I was just trying to take that individual. It kind of in my mind made sense because I've heard people on platforms do things like that. But but I understand what you're saying as well, Jen. I mean, yeah, if you're putting them like as evidence of something that happened from before, then I can see what you're saying. But I just thought it sounded like a plausible thing. That's all I'm saying.
Can I say one thing? Because I only said like 4 or 5 words, and man, I've been beat up worse than Errol Spence on this panel tonight. You know what I mean? And I swear I haven't even said one sentence. I've been told to suck somebody off. I've been called a this and this and that.
Well, wait a minute. Are you not disrespectful in the chat and on this panel before? Have you been disrespectful? The answer is yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, so then I would hope that you could dish and take it, right?
Yeah. So
okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, all right, that's fair.
Okay, let me just say this. I'm on a lot of different. I watch a lot of different content, right? And I watch a lot of content where if you want to call it red. I'm not a part of the red pill community, but I do watch a lot of different red pill content, right? And out of my ignorance, I saw that word used so casually that I literally thought it was a word they were using just to not get their panel flagged. And I know you may think that I'm being disingenuous when I say that. I'm being genuine when I say that's the way I use the word, thinking that, because I know when you bring up certain communities, it does alert YouTube. Now I want to say this, like I said, out of my ignorance. So now that I know, if you knew better, you do better. So now that I know that of how derogatory or whatever, that's why I apologize. And my apology was sincere, because I told you, I said I'm not even like that, and I apologized about it. Now, so I just want to say that it wasn't. I really was using. I'm not like that. I swear, I'm not a disrespectful person. No matter how much you want to say that.
All right, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. You just admitted that you're disrespectful. You just said yes.
No,
I asked you. No, listen. I asked you. First of all, these motherfuckers are weird, man. These two are fucking weird. All right. Transformer is an insulting word. And you say you heard it in a red pill. The red pill are some of the most disrespectful, derelict bums on YouTube. Let's be clear. Okay? They're racist. They're disrespectful. They're misogynist. That is literally their reputation. And they love that reputation. They fucking love it. So for you to say, and my advice to you, again, friendly advice, you need to stop watching that red pill shit, because that's why you're such a little dick. And that's why instead of insulting Spro, and I said you're a little dick, okay? And instead of insulting Spro, because when Spro is up here, you're insulting him too. Instead of insulting Spro, you should listen to him, because he quit the red pill. He was just like you, a little dick, okay? Now Spro is happily married. He's happily married. He has a child, okay? And he talks about the error of his ways, beating off to the red pill all them years. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you. It makes you passive aggressive. It makes you a little dick. That's why women don't want you. Okay. And then you're going to say, yes, listen, whoever's tolerating you right now. Okay. I feel sorry for her, but you still have issues with women. So having somebody that lets you put your dick in her does not mean that you still don't have issues with women. If you are happy with that woman, you should not be beating off to red pill content to this day. You have issues with women, and fucking a woman, okay, on a regular is not going to fix that. So I'm telling you, friendly advice, get off the red pill. It's not helping you. So back to the stupid word of Transformers. You said that fucking word and you chuckled after. So you knew it was an insult. Now, why you two are so passive aggressive and fucking deny that is who you are and how you are. Like, I love sarcasm. I love throwing jabs, but the fucking denying it for adult males, it's fucking corny. It's lame, corny shit. Like, it's just corny. We have debates up here all the time. We go at each other all the fucking time. Me, the panel, the chat. We drag each other. We roast each other. But to have two fucking adult males who claim they're adult males come up here, I didn't say that because of that. I didn't do that. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not passive aggressive. It's cringe, yo. It's fucking cringe. It's weird, and that's why y'all relate, because y'all are the same motherfucker, just different ages. It's weird, yo.
It's almost like I'm not spending the whole night doing this shit with these niggas. I'm just really not my Friday, man.
Wait. All right, well, listen.
Okay, yeah. Thanks so much, y'all. Thanks for having me on the panel tonight.
Okay, all right, James. Take my advice. It's better for you, okay?
Yeah. What's funny is
get off the red pill.
What is the rest of the internet? Because I don't think people talking about the red pill.
Get off the.
Okay, listen, get off of it. Hold on. Get off
all
of
toxic,
it.
James.
Like, that's great. Like,
James, it's all James. It's all toxic. James, it's all toxic. The red pill is just worse. It is not helping you.
What is the rest of the internet? That's crazy.
Forget the rest of the internet. Let's talk about James. Let's talk about what you consume.
About black men. Yeah,
no, James, let's talk about what you consume. Let's talk about what you consume. Forget the rest of the internet. Let's talk about what you consume. You become what you consume.
Can I talk about it?
James, you become what you consume is my point. And it's negative. The red pill is toxic. That's all I'm saying.
You're making assumptions.
No, all of your talking points are exactly red pill talking points. Verbatim.
Assumptions about me.
But James, no.
James,
the evidence.
James, you're constantly bashing women. James, you're constantly bashing women. You use the lingo. You use the lingo. You have an issue with black women, James. You do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. And the red pill is reinforcing that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I know this may hurt. I'm gonna tell you a secret.
I'm
black woman. I'm with a black woman.
It doesn't mean that you still don't have it. Then why are you in my chat constantly bashing black women if you're with a black woman? Do you understand that fucking something does not change that you still hate a thing?
How do I bash? Give me an example of how
okay?
I bash.
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting on another night, James. On another night. I promise. On another night. We'll do a red pill night. Jesus H. It's so fucking weird. And you know what? That's a misconception that a lot of men have, right? Men hate women, men who hate women, men who have issues with women. They think because they're fucking a woman, that takes away those issues. But we see a lot of these guys here, they have wives and they have girlfriends and they're talking about women that have nothing to do with them all fucking day. I'm like, don't you got a bitch in your bed? Why do you still care what women are collectively doing? Why do you care what women are collectively doing? That's weird. I'm with a black woman. Then you should be happy. You should be cheerful. You're probably getting sucked off on a regular. You should be happy. No, because black women, you got one. I don't understand.
Women are the matrix.
They are.
On that note, good night, Wisconsin.
Wait a minute. Dr. Frizzo Frost, a warrior spirit, says red pill is outdated, been contaminated by lames. Manhood is the way to go. Salute to you, sir. I agree with that shit. Well, this was a lively conversation. We are coming up on the 2 hours. Don't forget, support your girl on the block with Jen Cash App. Thank you to everyone who contributed tonight. No matter what they contributed, it was a good fucking show, right? There's what are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I truly, madly, deeply love you all. And we will see you mañana. Good night, guys. Block, fall back for a minute if you can.
Okay. Hopefully. Okay.
All right. Good night, guys. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door for mama. Good night, guys. Bye. Bye, everybody.
What's the lip thing, you know what I'm saying?